Hi everyone, I will show you how to do data wrangling with R. You can open RStudio, and I've already written the script, so I would just run the script because I'm going to share this script with you, and you will double click on this script. It would automatically open the RStudio if you have installed it. So let's do that for now. Okay, so I've created this script on Mac, and I downloaded this file. I can share this file with you unless you want to download it again. And let's see, here we have 4 parts. Here I can see plots. I doubt there will be any in this script, but let's just keep it here. Here, RStudio has 4 parts. Here on the top left, you have your script. Bottom left, you can see the output of your script once you run it. And on the bottom right, you can see the plots and all the file paths and everything and packages and also help. And the top right, just leave it like that for now. It's for, you can see data, but let's not discuss it for now. And so I want to run each command of this file one by one, and then we can see the results. Okay, so first is data manipulation using Dplyr, and these are the learning objectives. You can easily read them. Select columns in a data frame with the Dplyr function. Function's name is select. Select rows in a data frame according to filtering conditions with the Dplyr function filter. I want to show you one thing. For very long rows, click on code and soft wrap long lines, so you can see everything in your screen. You don't need to scroll right and left again and again. Okay, and direct the output of one Dplyr function to the input of another function with the pipe operator. And there are some funny characters here because I created this script in Mac and now it is in R, so I would definitely fix it before sending it to you. That's for now. Let's run it, and the command seems okay. And add new columns to a data frame. This is also our objective. Data functions of existing columns with mutate function. Understand the split, apply, combine concept for data analysis. Use summarize, group by, and count to split a data frame into groups of observations. Apply a summary statistics for each group, and then combine the results. Join 2 tables by a common variable. Don't worry about summary statistics. This is our module 2. Here, I just want to generate some data so I can do something with it. So that's why I used it. Okay, so we install packages. So in RStudio, you put your cursor on the row that you want to run and click on run. And it just works like that. And now after installing it, I will subset columns and rows by using this script. So here, this is the path of my data file on my hard drive. You can change it according to its location on your hard drive. So what I want to do is, let's begin with loading our sample data into a data frame table. In this case, we will be working a small subset of the data from the Stanford Open Policing Project. It contains information about traffic stops for Blacks and whites in the state of Mississippi during January 2013 to mid-July of 2016. So, and the name of the data frame is stops, and we will use this symbol to create a data frame. And read CSV is the name of the function because my file is in CSV format. So I will click run, and after creating this data frame, if I just mention its name and run, it shows me my data frame like this. So this is my file ID, stop date, country name, county name, county FIPS, police department, driver gender, whatever. These are all the columns. It's just data for us. And you will simply run the other command. So I want to, let's see what happens. And here I can see the first 6 rows. So this command is to print the first 6 rows of this data frame. And now to select columns of a data frame with Dplyr, use select function. The first argument to this function is the data frame. The name is stops, and the subsequent arguments are the columns to keep. Select, so basically the names of the columns, and this is how you run it. So see what it did. Here you can see all of them, the names of the columns that you mentioned in the select function, they have been displayed. It's worth knowing that Dplyr is backed by another package with a number of helper functions which provide convenient functions to select columns based on their names. For example, here, let's see what it does. So male, date of birth, driver, race, so all the columns where the name of the column starts with a driver. So let's read this command. Select from the stops data frame all the columns that starts with driver string, which is in double quotes. To subset rows based on specific criteria, you use filter. So instead of select, you will use filter. For the columns, you use select. For the rows, you use filter. Stops, where the county name is YAZOO. Let's see. Here it is, all the rows where you have this string YAZOO. Okay, here are some other ways to subset rows. Slice stops by row number from 1 to 3. Let's see what it does. Yeah, from row number 1 to row number 3, it displayed. And so we can scroll down. Rows with highest or lowest values of a variable, slice min, stops, driver age, and so all the young drivers. Okay, so this is the youngest driver. He was stopped. Yeah. Is it the youngest driver? Driver age. Okay. And likewise, slice max is another function to find the highest value of a variable. Random rows, slice sample, stops, n is equal to 5, number of rows to select, and then slice sample stops, prop is equal to 0.001, fraction of rows to select. So you can run both of these commands one by one and see what happens. So basically, instead of recording, I could just simply leave it to you because this is so straightforward. But this is your first module, so I decided to record a video just to show you how to use RStudio. If you have any questions, please ask me. To sort rows by variables, use the arrange function. Arrange from this data frame, county name, stop date. Here, all of these columns, you can see. Pipes, how you use it. But if you wanted to filter and select on the same data, for example, let's find drivers over 85 years and only keep the violation and gender columns. Okay, pipes let you take the output of one function and send it directly to the next, which is useful when you need to do many things to the same data set. Pipes in R look like percentage sign, greater than sign, percentage sign, and are made available via the magritter package. You can just read it in any way you want, which is installed automatically with Dplyr function. Okay, if you use RStudio, you can type the pipe with Control-Shift-M. If you have a PC, or use Command-Shift-M if you have a Mac. The first one was for PC and the second one is for Mac. Stops, pipe, filter, this condition, pipe, this condition. So let's run it. You can see some output. Seatbelt male. So basically they wanted to see driver gender and what was the violation when the driver age was 85. So they wanted to see if the driver is more than 85 years of age, what was his gender and what violation did he do? And senior drivers stops from this data frame, take this variable, filter older drivers older than 85 years of age, and select violation, their gender, and their race. Okay. I don't want to sound racist here, but let's see what they done, what they do. Okay. And then I would just call, so this was the name of the variable. That's why I didn't print anything. Now I would call the name of the variable to see the result of this command. And okay, so 2 of them were white, 1 was black. So that was the result. And add new columns. Frequently, you will want to create new columns based on the values in existing columns. Or for this, we'll use mutate function. We can also reassign values to an existing column with that function. Be aware that new and edited columns will not permanently be added to the existing data frame unless we explicitly save the output. So here is an example using the year function from the lubricate package to extract the year of the driver's birth date. I just scrolled down due to some unknown reason by mistake. And then I would come back to this part that I want to show you. And if year function is not found, then do not run the following piece of code. Makes sense? And let's see what it does. Here it gives me an error because I do not have this function installed here. Let's not worry about this. Our goal is not to understand this data here, but to understand different commands of R for data wrangling, as many as we can run. And let's see if this command does anything for us. Just select all of them. Again, error because I didn't have it installed and I could not due to some error with my computer. Mutate can also be used in conjunction with logical conditions. I think you can just read all of these, and this part won't be, I won't be able to run it. So I have this comment written here, so you won't be able to run anything above this comment because of if you don't have that year function installed, then you cannot. But if you have it, then you can of course run it. And then next part is many data analysis tasks can be approached using the split apply combine paradigm. And Dplyr makes this possible through the use of the group by function. Group by is often used together with summarize function. So to view the mean age for black and white drivers, let's run this command. So basically it groups by driver race and then summarize mean age. And let's see what this command does. Okay, so this is the race and this is the mean age. If we wanted to remove the line with NA, we could insert a filter in the chain just like this. And a remove is equal to true. No, this was already there. This is the new filter. So this exclamation mark means if it's not true. So if NA condition in the driver race is not true, then only use that, only use those rows. And so then we don't have this NA here. See, this is what it does. And you can also group by multiple columns. So again, we are using this filter and group by county name and driver race. And here, the county name on the left and driver race in the middle, and then mean age on the right. Okay, once the data are grouped, you can also summarize multiple variables at the same time and not necessarily on the same variable. For instance, we could add a column indicating a minimum age in each group. For example, that is county. And this is our filter. This is group by, this is summarize. And I'm adding, in addition to the mean age, I'm adding the min age. And I'm using this function min, where the driver age is minimum. Let's run this command and let's see the output. Here I have a column of minimum age. Oh my God, 8 years old. Pretty much very young drivers were there. Tallying, what is tallying? Let's see. Tallying is when working with data, it is also common to want to know the number of observations found for categorical variables. For this, a Dplyr provides count function. For example, if we wanted to see how many traffic stops each officer recorded. Okay, so this count officer ID. And so this is ID on the left and number of stops on the right. And then this is the, you can see the difference. Instead of before I had only N, and here I have N underscore stops. So basically I can give a name to the output column by using this part here. Name is equal to N stops. And now I'm also sorting it. It's pretty neat. I can sort here. It's in the descending order. So sort is equal to true was to sort them. Count function calls group by function transparently. Count function calls group by function transparently before counting the total number of records for each category. Similarly, we can count subgroups within groups. Okay. So officer ID violation, and then we can, before we were counting officer ID, now we are counting violation and also naming the column. So here, number of stops, violation, and the officer ID. Okay, and alternatives. So these are some, I can use tally function, group by before counting. It's just a different way of doing similar things here. And we've done this before. And here it's the, I'm using pipe to do the same thing again and summarize. Here it's doing the same thing. And let me read it for you. So from this data frame, group by officer ID, summarize this N function is useful when the count is needed within a calculation. N is equal to N function and arrange in descending order of N. Okay, and the upper command is group by officer ID, pipe it, and tally sort is equal to true. So you could see the output and understand the purpose of these commands. Okay, joining two tables. And this is how we join tables. So you read this file and then call the name into, you read it in a data frame and then see the data frame. This is how it looks like. And in a first step, we count all the stops per county. Stops, county name, number of stops. Just run it. And you could see here number of stops in each county. And then we can then pipe this into our next operation where we bring the two tables together. Okay, now here we are joining the tables by using left join function. And this function left join returns all rows from the left table and all columns from the left and the right table. Okay. As ID, which uniquely identifies the corresponding records in each table, we use the county names. Okay. Yeah, so it has appended it. And Dplyr, so if you want to see what a function does, you can just use this question mark and then Dplyr and LYR and then join for all the possible joins. And you could just type it here and it will show you. You could just ask for help from the right side. And if you want to data manipulation using tidyr, these are the learning objectives. This is the longest script that we have. And there's a lot to cover in it. So you can read all these comments. And this is a long table, and you see, and then you can convert it to a wide table by using this function pivot wider. And once you will run these commands, you can see that the long table has been converted to a wide table. You just have to call the name of this data frame that you created by using this command. Just call it, and then you can see the wide table. And back from wide to long, you use the function pivot longer. And just confirm it by calling the name of the data frame. And then you can also do this. You could also have used a specification for what columns to include. This can be useful if you have a large number of identifying columns. And it's easier to specify what to gather than what to leave alone. But if the columns are adjacent to each other, we don't even need to list them all out. We can use the operator, this colon. We use the colon operator. Okay, so this also works, this command. And exporting data, similarly, you can write your data frame to a file by using the write CSV function, and then just specify the path, and it will be written. So you can run each one of these commands one by one and see the output at the bottom and understand these commands. Says R is very powerful. I feel it's more powerful than R, but than SAS, but it's a little bit hard to learn, so it will really need your time. And that is the end of this video.